Da, 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 da. That's where I'm at. I'm out there. Oh, you've probably seen the news in the title. I'm not going to cry already. Hercules the musical is coming to London, to the UK, to England, the country in which I reside. I can see it. Again. But not again, but in English. It's coming to the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. That is just, it's such a huge venue. It's one I've been to multiple times. I saw a TV show being recorded there, and I've seen Frozen there, of course. That's a big house. Someone's got some confidence in Hercules. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a limited run, like a 3-month run, which I would see as a challenge, personally. It is worth pointing out, I do live 2 hours away from London. Like, it's, you know, minimum £50 on the train each way. This could become an expensive time in my life. I can start saving now. I'm going to deprioritise other things, maybe. But I am going to see Hercules the musical. I'm going to get tickets for the first preview. I'm going to get tickets for the opening night. I'm going to get tickets for the closing night, if there is one. Maybe we don't get one, and maybe it goes on forever. Not forever. That's probably extreme. But maybe we get a year, a 2 year, 3 year, whatever. This is not the video I was going to make about the Hercules musical. I was going to make it this week as well. I was going to finally make my review from Hamburg, and that video was going to be like 4 hours long, and I was going to cover all the details of the show, because I was like, well, you know, for just in case nobody ever gets to see it in English, because what if it didn't go on from Hamburg? Of course it was going to go on from Hamburg. What was I thinking? Disney putting Hercules on the Royal Variety back in December. What more evidence did I need? Of course that was going to be the case. What I am going to do is I'm going to talk about the Hercules musical, however, only the bits that I think need to change. I just need to get them out there into the world, so what needs to change between Hamburg and London. Even saying that's really cool. But before we get into that, I just want to show you something that arrived to my house between me getting back from Hamburg and recording this video. I was not expecting this at all. Like, literally, it came completely out of nowhere a year after I had any contact with who it came from. Let me just skip to it. Look at this. Look at this. Signed by Alan Menken himself. This is from opening night of the New Jersey production last year. Ty at Paper Mill Theatre. I love you's probably a little bit extreme, but maybe it isn't in this situation. You are a good human. Not all these songs are in the Hamburg production, actually. A lot got cut, apparently. But, you know, it's really cool to see the sheet music of these songs. That aside, right, let's get into it. How does the musical open? Okay, so I am going to summarise through it, but I'm not going to give too many things away. It's been out there on the Hamburg Instagram story, so I don't feel it's too much of a spoiler. The overture starts with the Go the Distance trumpets, the Olympic riff. That is what you hear, the first thing, and it sends a shiver through your spine. I lasted about 0.25 seconds before bursting into tears and just being like, wow, to feel this music running through my body is an experience like I can't describe, apart from how I've just described it there, but honestly it felt better than that. And then it went into, from the Go the Distance song, I'm right, okay. I probably need to agree with myself. I can't hum out the entire musical. That could be dangerous too. Anyway, it then goes softer. I remember the narrator's voice is booming over, and on top of the narrator, there was like a choir, well, a Greek chorus, doing like a Go the Distance kind of choral thing happening over the top before one of the muses runs in and goes, whoa, wait a minute, and we launch into Gospel Truth. However, Gospel Truth, not be as expected. You have to be, you have to be really kind of open with a musical interpretation of the film to be able to go, okay, I'm going to let go of that, of understanding that that's not going to be the same as the film. And Gospel Truth is such an iconic opening of the film that you would think I would be extremely disappointed with any alterations to it. But I wasn't. I was completely blown away. You know, story-wise, it takes you through a bit of a different backstory. It sets up the gods a bit more, in my opinion. It sets up the 3 brothers and that kind of thing. So Zeus, Hades, Poseidon. And it kind of takes you through to the birth of Hercules, the party. It lasted quite a while. It was like 6 or 7 minutes, definitely. It was a vibe. but it kind of kept going. Like, it went into Gospel Truth 2. Right, no, this is important to say. It went into Gospel Truth 2, which was pretty much exactly how it is in the film. I remember them adding something about Hades being crazy around it, but other than that, it was very much, he ran the underworld. As we descend into the underworld for the first time, there are a few differences from the story that I don't know if made a lot of sense. Again, like, I am conscious of the fact that most of it was in German. There was a good percentage of English, but not for like the hardcore plot. But you had Pain and Panic being introduced in a different way, and I was fine with that introduction. In the German version, they're called Heinz and Karl, which is like a common German name. So it would be like, just Disney, don't call him John Smith. Like, we don't want John Smith, we want Pain and Panic, please. But strangely, this first time in the underworld, bear in mind Hercules is still a baby. Meg is in the underworld as an adult. So I don't know if that means that Meg is like cosmic or whatever, you know, undead. But that's a bit weird given the fact that we're setting up the romantic interest. I love how I'm commenting upon that, upon Greek mythology. And it's probably because audiences want to see Meg sooner, but like, I think that really needs to be justified to do that because it then stuck in my head. I was like, what age is she with him? Meg was really cool, by the way, like throughout the entire show. But then, we've got several gospel truths, because like in the film there's 1, 2, and 3. I kind of lost track, it just kind of kept going. I'm looking at the program, genauso war 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then kind of a sieben. This takes you through Pain and Panic capturing Hercules and like making him mortal, and also his mum finding him, his adoptive mum, which, that's the point. She is called Despina. I don't see the need, personally. Just keep her Alcmene. From what I've heard about the Paper Mill production last year, I think she had a bit more of an expanded role, and therefore it made sense to separate her more. Apparently she had interest with Phil, romantically, which I'm glad I didn't see that. Oh, he wasn't a satyr, so like, yeah, but he is a satyr. Anyway, change your name back. It doesn't add anything by her having a different name, in my opinion. She sings a very nice lullaby though, but ultimately she's not in it that much to warrant her being a new character. Just keep it Alcmene. I get Amphitryon not being there, doesn't add anything to the overall story. Oh, speaking of cut characters, the Fates. They're not in it, and it didn't not work. You know, I love the film, and I love all the characters in the film, but there is a lot of bloat. And there are lots of things there because they're visually interesting, and that's fine in the film. I am all for refining the musical version to be what it needs to be. From Alcmene / Despina finding Hercules, it then goes into what was in the film Gospel Truth 3, so young Herc was mortal now, but it's not as slow and dramatic as it is in the film. And like, I think in a musical, like, all the muses should have their chances to shine, and like in the film, that's Melpomene. That's the muse of tragedy. And like, I thought it was kind of going to be over-exaggerated, really sad. But like, it starts off that way and it speeds up. It speeds up for a reason that I am happy with, because it goes into the next song really well. The muses kind of do act differently. They definitely don't have as much individual flair, but like, it didn't not work. Anyway, so it speeds up and transitions into a new song. In Deutsch, we have it as Ich weiß, das wird heute mein Tag. On the Instagram story of this production, they showed the sheet music, which titled it as Today's Gonna Be My Day. And let me tell you, that is a bop. Do not get rid of that at all. That is the song of Hercules being in the marketplace, being really happy and just wanting to enjoy his life, and he keeps breaking the entire thing, so much so it ends up with the entire marketplace collapsing, him knocking over a statue of Dionysus, injuring several people, etc. It works great, it's really perky, and it's really catchy. Again, there are clips online of that song, so go get that in your head. And it's really an annoying one to have in your head when you don't know the words. I keep trying to make up the words in English, but David Zippel, please just send me the words in English. Like, I kind of hinted to you on Twitter and you liked and retweeted it, but you know, there are several. I could just wait till London, actually, ignore me. Although if you would like to send it earlier, I would be very happy. Go the distance. Perfect. Simple. Yeah, I'm very particular about Go the Distance and how I think it should be. I think the first verse. Oh, so structure-wise, it's first verse, first chorus, second chorus, bridge, final chorus, and end last note. Very important. That is my dream structure. I've made a whole 15-minute video about this song before, but perfect. And it played all the way through. Like, there was no gap in the middle. It was one song, which very much appreciated. But generally, first verse should be slower, second verse should be quicker. And it was that, and it was epic. And it made me cry lots in German. And because that song is very much out there on the internet, I know the words to that song in German. So I do keep walking around the house going, "Wie oft lag ich war." After the song, we go to Temple of Zeus, and you'd be like, okay, we've got our taste of Go the Distance, but what do they do in the film after that? There's a cheeky reprise. And like, reprise in the film, it's like, I didn't think it could get any better. They made it better. The muses are in the reprise of Go the Distance, which is something that my mind still can't comprehend, and I did see it with my own very eyes. They're only there like as kind of like going, ah, and there was a clip of this on the Instagram story. But that worked perfectly. I assume the words are just going to be, I will beat the odds, I can go the distance. Keep that exactly how it is. Especially, yeah, the vocal moments in it as well. Like, that is already a hard song. And from what I can remember, that last note was even better. And if you listen back to the reprise on any clips that are on the internet, yeah. Just clarifying, when I say clips on the internet, I'm only referring to clips that have been officially posted by either cast, show, whatever. One Last Hope, Phil. Perfect. I said what I said. Perfect. Completely different to the film. As in, the song is the same. It is the same song, but the orchestration is completely different, and like the tempo and the everything, like it is just a different song. I can't describe it because I can't fully remember how it goes, but I knew it was a bop. I think it was kind of like more perky, if that makes sense. Maybe a bit faster too, but it felt like a, yeah, and there was like visually so many cool things happening during that. Then we meet Meg, and there's a song called Forget About It, which is on the internet because that was there since the original production of Hercules musical. So it's been performed many, many times, including at Epcot just this past summer. It's a hard way to learn, and I've taken some notes. Don't think that you're my hero at last. Forget about it. It's a really catchy song. It's a really good song. And it's like Meg and Hercules meeting each other and kind of flirting and not flirting. It's cool. Also, it's not Nessus, which I'm quite attached to Nessus, but like, I wasn't annoyed at what they did. It was quite funny, actually. It was a different creature, followed by another gospel truth. Quite a good one that involved cowbells, I seem to remember. Didn't understand the words in German, therefore I have no idea if the cowbells were relevant, but it sounded cool. Then we have a song for Hades, which the last song for Hades was called A Cool Day in Hell. I refer to the paper mill. That gone. You can find clips of Alan Menken singing that on the internet. Now he's doing backstrokes in a deadly sea. It's gonna be a cool day in hell. It was a cool song, but apparently it's quite boring. As in, like, visually, like, as part of a show. That happens with some songs, that's fine. And the new song, like, was cool, and what was happening during the song was cool. That's called Getting Even. I do know the English title of that because David Zippel discussed it on podcast. I come with my references if need be. But here's where I'm closing the book. That means things are getting serious. We're approaching Zero to Hero. And there's a key thing that happens before Zero to Hero. Hercules is in Thebes, and there is a monster to go and fight. Somebody is trapped. It was Pain and Panic in the film. It is Meg in this version. Hydra battle. That's what I'm getting to. Hydra comes on stage with 4 heads from the beginning. Is slayed in what is like 30 to 45 seconds. How is it slayed? Slain? Its head chopped off, and then he's defeated it. That is such a key part of the mythology missing there. For those of you that don't know, you chop off a Hydra's head, you get some more growing back. I knew that the production had a screen at the back, so like in my head I was like, oh, that's gonna be how they do it. They're gonna chop off a head, and like on the screen, extra heads are gonna appear. It's gonna be something creative like that. No, just kill it really easily. Now, I don't mind this for like this is getting long at this point. We are well over an hour into the show. If you're not going to do what I'm going to discuss in Act 2, then this just needs tidying up. And then we're in 0 to hero. I've never smiled so much. Like legit, my cheeks like were kind of like, I can't physically do it. There are clips of this online as well from the rehearsal footage, but Hercules has a verse in 0 to hero. Hercules and Phil even. Makes me very happy, although I don't know any of the words in English. I've had a German I know try and translate it, but he couldn't hear it too well because it's rehearsal footage. So I kind of get what they're on about, and I could kind of get it from visually seeing what was happening, but I would really like to know what those words are so I can sing that and start walking around going, so wird das, which isn't even the German words. I'm literally just saying sounds at this point. Vibe, keep it. Other thing to keep in 0 to hero, the Muses' little like rap thing that they do. Wake up is it was in English in the German production. I hope it's not in German in the English production. What you want? We got what you want. We got what you want. We got Hercules. It won't be. I don't expect to hear any German. Or maybe there'll be like a cheeky nod. I don't know. It's building up to the climax. It's building up to the climax, and I'm expecting it to get like wild, and they subvert expectations. So you think that 0 to hero is gonna like end up faster and faster and faster, but then it goes slow. Like it's like bless my. I can't do it. It works, is what I'm saying. And it speeds up and speeds up and speeds up and speeds up, to which you're expecting it to build up to, now he's a hero. And iconically, the final line of 0 to hero is, yes indeed. This didn't exist in the German production, and I don't know if it was just because language-wise it didn't make sense to do, but like it just kind of ended. Like they went 0 to hero, ba ba ba, or something. It was really weird, because like watching it you were like, oh, okay, where's yes indeed? And like they have a perfect ending for this in English. Like Disney themselves today are using the Royal Variety footage to promote Hercules coming to London, to which the ending was, now he's a hero, and Hercules joining in going, no, I'm a hero. And then instead of going yes indeed, it's yes indeed. Perfect. To end on that energy, perfect to end to Act 1. So you have the answers, Disney. Just do it. Interval time. The Muses are back. They sing a little thing. Vibe. Phil comes back and he sings a song called I'm Back. As in it was called I'm Back in German. It was called I'm Back in Germany. It was a vibe with Medusa. Oh, I forgot to say that. Phil was found at Medusa's tavern. So Medusa, that's one thing I had a problem with. She looked really cool. But again, another mythical inaccuracy, because she was just looking at people left, right and centre and nobody was turning to stone. Just give her like a little veil or something. There's a load of reprises. I imagine there was a Gospel Truth, but there was a Go the Distance and a One Last Hope reprise. And all of that seemed to like happen really quickly. I think I've missed Pain and Panic in there, because it's saying that there's a reprise of What Is Getting Even. And I know that was sung by Pain and Panic as opposed to Hades. But yeah, either way, all this was fine. It was just really quick, which meant that you got to I Won't Say I'm in Love like really quickly, it felt like, which in my head is like near the end of the film. I know that film very well. I've seen it over like 6,500 times, maybe even 7,000 at this point actually. I should probably recount. I Won't Say I'm in Love, perfect, no notes. We then get to Great Bolts of Thunder, or Die Schlacht der Titanen, which there are no Titans in. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. There are no Titans in this version, which I'm fine with. They're epic in the film, but probably a nightmare to bring to life on stage. I get that, which is why there's something alternative I'd like to propose. Great Balls of Thunder, the Battle of the Titans, turns into the Battle of Hades, as in Hades is the big bad. He unleashes an army of the undead from the underworld. I vibe with that. That's chill. And then Hades himself becomes like this big like puppet thing, and that's also really cool. Zeus is involved, Hercules involved, Meg's involved. There's kind of like some battle-y thing, and then it concludes with Great Balls of Thunder. But amidst this was Hades having like mummy problems, which I can get on board with, and also I didn't understand it fully. It got very text heavy. I just didn't think it was that exciting of like a battle. And book is closing again, because here is what I would do. I would fix a problem from earlier in which the Hydra battle wasn't cool. Bring back the Hydra. No, that sounds silly, but in the film, I would argue that the Hydra battle is potentially more interesting than the Titan battle. Do love the Titan battle. I built a Lego set around it. I also built one of the Hydra battle, I suppose. But either way, the Hydra battle is really interesting visually and conceptually. So what if, because you're not seeing much of Hades throughout Act 2, what if Hades is trying to figure out how to revive the Hydra, because it's like one of his favourite monsters and he's really annoyed that it got defeated so easily? Then he can bring it back and have it be cooler and have 1,000,000 heads, even if they're all on screens or whatever. Just do something. And like, if you really want to, you can possess Medusa and the Minotaur. The Minotaur's in it in good, by the way. He's at Medusa's tavern, and then he also appears during Zero to Hero. He was having a right boogie, and it was well fun. Maybe that takes it a step too far, but like, you can create a really cool battle. Like, we are already so far departed from mythology anyway at this point. I don't think it matters. But visually, I think that could be exciting. Maybe it sounds a bit too Cursed Child-like, which, you know, for those of you who know what I mean will know what I mean. But it gets a bit fun fiction-y in Cursed Child. I've not seen the show, I've read the script though. Some people love that. Others who have just read it hate it. But pretty much everyone agrees that it's something interesting visually. And that's what I think would be the cool thing to go for here. Bring back the Hydra and make it cooler. Also, the Hydra is so underused in the film. That's how you rectify it. Gives Hades something to do, gives the Hydra an opportunity to be really cool, and it makes for a much more interesting battle. Hades can still have his mummy problems. I couldn't understand if this is how the German version ended, but like, Hades, I think, lived. But like, for me, the obvious conclusion for Hades in the musical is for him to become content with ruling the underworld, because that's the problem at the beginning. He's not happy with being given the underworld. Make him become content with the underworld. Then that's how it is in mythology. It pleases the mythology people. It means it's not as weird when he appears at the end during Star is Born, even though that kind of happens outside of the show. That's where I would fix it, and that's how I would fix it. Then you come back in with Great Bolts of Thunder, finish it, all the battle up, defeated, decent. Hercules becomes a god. Oh, yeah, he becomes a god in all of this. Oh, that was done really cool. The snipping of the golden rope. That was one of those things where I was like, I don't quite know how I'm seeing this. I love it when Disney do magic like that on stage. Hercules sings a song to decide whether he's going to stay on Earth or become a god. It's called To Be Human. It's a beautiful song. Like, I love it. There's a clip of Jelani Aladdin, who's the Hercules in the New York production, the Central Park production, even in 2019.
People laugh out loud on their darkest day, and if that's to be human, that's okay.
It's a beautiful song, and I'm complimenting it so much because I'm about to say something that potentially breaks my heart. Get rid of it. In the Paper Mill version, and I presume the Central Park version, To Be Human was a bookend. In fact, Alan Menken explained this in one of his interviews. The show opened with To Be Human, like a Greek choral version, and it had To Be Human at the end there. With this new version of the show not having the first bit, I don't know if it's interesting enough at the end. If it's interesting enough of a song at that moment. Basically, I think it could just be another reprise of Go the Distance, and it would suit the narrative. It wouldn't drag on as much. I was trying to think of some lyrics as to what it could be, but I'm not a lyricist, but something like, now I realise right before my eyes that my welcome I wanted is right in front of me. David Zipp will get on that, not me. Ignore me. But can you see what I'm saying? That I feel there's something there that could just work better. Hercules decides he's not going to be a god, as in the film. A different person is put in the stars than Hercules, and I loved it. It made me very emotional. And we get a finale song, which is like a reprise of Zero to Hero, where everyone's joining in, that goes into the gospel truth, and end of show, clap, 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 Star is Born. Star is Born is like curtain call, so it's like the bows happen in the middle of the song, which is great. I don't think I'd change anything about from that point onwards, actually. There's all the changes I would make, which I don't think there are too many. Obviously, like, my whole bringing the Hydra back for Act 2 is kind of complicated story-wise and maybe practically, but I think it could work and it would make me very excited. But who am I to know? I'm only somebody that thinks about Hercules approximately, on average, being realistic and fair, I probably think about Hercules for about 5 hours a day, which is a lot more than most people. It's not my 24/7. I do think about other things. Maybe that's a lie, but I could literally never get bored of watching the film. So I want to never be bored of watching the musical. I can't believe it's coming. It's coming! Ah! Casey Nicholaw, Thomas Schumacher, Alan Menken, David Zippel, any other of the creative team. I haven't mentioned scriptwriters. Scriptwriters have some work to do. I can accept not being involved on a production level, as in like all this stuff. I do want to do accessibility stuff though. But there's someone who I almost want involved in it more. My friend Melinda, who, if you've watched the channel a long time, you will have seen a video I made when I went to see Matilda, the Relax performance, back in 2019. 5 years ago now, wow. I interviewed an actor called Melinda Paris and have become friends with her since. She is extremely talented, but I remember about 5 years ago, we were talking about the Hercules musical because it wasn't long after the Central Park, and we were having a conversation around the fact that she 100% should be a muse if it were to ever come to the UK. Fast forward to this year, she was in a show called, well, end of last year actually, she was in a show called The Little Big Things, which also performed on the Royal Variety alongside the Disney performance of Hercules that I mentioned earlier. She met the muses. If that's not fate, fates. You get what I'm saying. She is incredibly talented. She is a muse in the UK. Like 100% she needs to be cast as one of them. I've actually already seen other people talking about it online that she should be cast. She's worked with Disney before. I also know it would mean the world to her. That's why I've started the #MuseMelinda movement. Put it on my Instagram story. I'm going to go comment it on a load of posts. Feel free to join me in that movement. We want Melinda Paris as a muse. If you're not going to do it for Melinda, do it for me, because how cool would it be for me to have a friend in the Hercules musical? I feel this is turning into like a charity kind of like call at this point. This is a celebration. I'll get to go and see Hercules the musical about 2 hours away. And ultimately, I've said loads of changes. I don't care. I'll enjoy it regardless. That's what I did in Hamburg. I didn't even understand the language most of the time. I still enjoyed it. But as a Hercules fan, you gotta want the best. Now, what am I going to do? I am going to go and watch Inside Out 2, because I've not seen that yet. And I think it's the only way I can distract myself from just thinking constantly about Hercules. Let's be honest, that's all I'm going to do anyway. From Central Park to Paper Mill to Hamburg to London. Let's go. Thank you for listening to whatever that was. Goodbye.